So, I've been a member of a few YouTube groups for small creators, small YouTubers, and one question that keeps coming up time after time after time is copyright claims for music. So, having a tiny bit of knowledge about these kind of things, I thought I'd do a video about it. Today, music copyrights explained and what you need to know about them, on this edition of Scot In The Dot. By the way, that's probably the last time you'll hear that music on my videos, for reasons I'll explain when I get around to it. First of all, there's 4 types of music licensing, music copywriting you need to know about. First of all, copyright free. Now, isn't that what everyone wants? That's probably why you're all here. Let's find out how to use music for nothing. Okay, fine. Let's get it out of the way then. As Papa Phil would say, let's just jump into it. Now, the pros for copyright free are it's zero or little cost to you and no copyright claims. Great, that's fantastic. But what's the downsides of copyright free? Well, the downsides of copyright free is you don't really have a choice in the songs. The songs are predetermined by licenses between the artist and the platform. The platform could be YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and that copyright freeness only lasts for that platform. So if you have a YouTube video that you use a copyright free song for and you decide, I'll just pop it on my Facebook page, Facebook are going to rip the music right off it because they don't have the license for copyright free. Another downside is the copyright free license between the artist and the platform. That could change at any time without you getting told. You could be merely uploading videos using a copyright free song for your channel ID theme, and what do you know, next one you upload, it gets a copyright claim out of nowhere after you've been using it for free for so long. What's up with that, huh? Well, that brings us to the next kind of copyright, and that's license or royalty free. Now, they're often confused or interchangeable as each other, license or royalty free. They really kind of mean the same thing. You are licensed to use a certain amount of time of the music. It depends on the license, and again, the license is between the artist and the platform, so you don't get to see the license, you don't get told how much and how little you can use. So here's the thing, the reason why I can't use Kenzie Natural anymore is because, much like copyright free, the license rules changed without warning to me. Now, I was happily, merrily loading the videos, uploading videos to YouTube with Kenzie's Natural as my intro and my outro, and it was fine and dandy for almost a year, and then suddenly I upload the Scot In The Dot Goes to Changi Jewel video and I get a copyright claim. But here's the interesting thing. The intro, which is 8 seconds long, didn't get claimed. The outro, which is 20 seconds long, did get claimed. Now, I know because I did do some research and checked, the license free, royalty free, whatever you want to call it, did allow me to use up to 30 seconds of the song, which I was sticking to, because if you add 8 seconds and 20 seconds, it comes to 28 seconds. So that's under the 30 seconds to use the song that I'm allowed to before a copyright claim gets slapped on it. Now, they've changed that. Obviously, they've changed it to perhaps less than 20 seconds. Now, I don't know for a fact because I've not bothered researching it, because frankly, it's a lot of work to find out the terms of these contracts. Obviously, the contract has changed, right? The royalty-free or license-freeness of the contract has changed. You used to be able to use 30 seconds, you can now only use 10 seconds or less, let's say for the sake of argument. Now, that's okay for my intro, fine. But then I have to get more outro music. Not so fine. Basically, this is the last video I'll be using that particular tune as an intro. I've got a couple other ones in mind that are copyright free. We'll see how long they last. The pros of license or royalty free is you tend to get a better choice of music. You can find easier songs to suit the footage or suit the mood. What's seen as one of the pros of it is it's usually behind a paywall, and we're talking websites like Epidemic Sound or licked.com. Websites like that, you usually have to pay a subscription and you get access to all the songs, and you can use the songs for commercial use, and that's great as long as you use like that portion of the limited time that you're allowed to use them. everything should be fine and dandy. And the thought behind it is if you're paying to use it, then you won't have any claims. That's not strictly true. As we're about to explain in the cons, the downside of using license-free or royalty-free is it's not usually free. You have to pay a certain fee for it. This can be a subscription monthly fee, annual fee, per song fee. It depends on the type of site you go to. Again, the license status may change without warning to you or anyone else, because the license isn't up to you. You're not party to the license, you're only purchasing the right to use it under the license that's agreed between the artist and the platform. A downside is you can only use it for a certain duration. Now, for me, for Kenzie's Natural, 30 seconds was fine. That's all I needed. That got me the intro and the outro. Fantastic. But then, licenses can change without warning. And the license for Kenzie Natural went from 30 seconds to about 10 seconds. So that's me screwed for an intro and an outro. Oh well. Moving on then. Another option you can use is original music. Now, if you're particularly musical yourself, you can compose it yourself. Why not compose music yourself for it? If you're not musically minded, perhaps you can persuade a local band to compose music for you. Obviously, you might need to get a contract drawn up, seek a musical lawyer for that. The contract would be between you and the band that you have free use of, say, 30-40 seconds of music that they have composed for you without having to pay them any royalties from it. Or maybe you pay them a small annual fee. Another option is the website Fiverr. There's loads of people on there that could compose things for you. It could be like a channel intro, channel outro, or background music for footage, like drone footage. You want something a bit more serene, kind of panpipey, dreamy, airy, light, to actually go with the footage and evoke those emotions from the viewer, rather than have something a bit dubstepy and bombastic, which may kind of not really go with the footage you're trying to use. Another pro about using original music is you get a song you like. That can be important if you're musically minded in terms of art direction and you're wanting that special piece of music that really fits the footage you're actually trying to edit. Now, one of the downsides of original music, as I said, you may need to consult a music lawyer to draw up a contract between you and a band, say, to use 30 to 40 seconds of their music without too much of a fee, and that in itself may be an expensive process. And when using sites like Fiverr or other means to remotely compose music for you, they may require a bigger fee than usual to relinquish their rights to the composition for you to make money off it, and without giving them royalties. Next up, copywritten music. You may be wondering why more creators don't use proper hits, or why some do and some don't. The short answer to that is there are creators out there who use copywritten hits to have more familiarity with the viewers. If you're watching a video and a hit song comes on, hey, you're singing along, whether it's Lady Gaga or Elvis Presley or Mode Step. Then you actually have a hit song in your video for that familiarity to capture that audience. You don't worry about getting a copyright claim and losing the revenue from that video. You know that revenue from the video is going to the artist and not to you. So some creators do that because if they're a small creator, maybe they try and popularise themselves by using hit songs because they're not going to earn any money from it anyway. So why not? Why not take a chance? One pro as well about using copywritten music is that you can make a list of songs in your head that you can actually pick from to evoke certain moods, certain sways in videos, conjuring up an emotion in your viewer. What do you want your viewer to feel when they see footsteps walking down a country lane that's got autumn leaves strewn over it? Do you want it to be suspenseful? Do you want it to be bright and happy because you consider autumn to be happy? Do you want something altogether different? Now, as for the cons for original music, most of you probably don't know this because you probably haven't went through the process. But the better known the song, the higher the fee you'll need to use it. Now, this may take the form of an annual fee, perhaps a special license. Even when you actually get that license, written permission or digital permission by email from the artist, publisher, masters, holder, whatever, to say that you can use the song globally. Even when you put that song on a video and upload it to YouTube, you will still get a copyright claim. Why? Because what you're supposed to do is hold that video from going live while the dispute is still in dispute. What you need to do then, once you upload the video with copywritten music is not make it go live, dispute it, send copies of your license for that song to YouTube, and then they will respond to you and say, yeah, okay, you've got a license to use it, we've taken away the claim, and then you can put your video live and earn money from it. Because you put your video live with a copyright claim on it, you will not earn money from it while that copyright claim is still in dispute. Any money is gathered from those vital first few hours, few days, few weeks that you put the video up, depending on how much of a viewership you have. All that revenue will go to the artist while the copyright claim is still on it. Just a word of warning. One other major con about using copywritten music, and I can't believe the system is still like this because it's been going for decades and it hasn't changed, is that depending on how you want to use the music, depending which region you want to use the music, you have to get a license for each region. Now, there can be a dozen regions that you might have to write to for separate licenses for each, right? If you want to use your video globally. For example, I'm currently in Singapore, so I would need to apply to, say, BMG, who are based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Now, if I get a license off them, that's great. I can use a song in Southeast Asia, maybe, which might not include the Philippines, or it might be different for Indonesia. There might be another license required for Australia. There might be another license required for Japan. You see where I'm going with this, right? It's no accident that movie studios and TV production companies have entire departments dedicated solely just to getting licenses for hit song music that they use in their movies and their TV shows. As an example, Thor Ragnarok, Chris Hemsworth, Marvel Studios, big studio company owned by Disney, they've got the backing, they've got the money. They approached Led Zeppelin to use Immigrant Song. Now, I can't play that song here. I can put a link to it up here. Immigrant Song contains lyrics about Norse gods and Norse mythology, which suits really well being used with Thor, and it was used specifically for certain fight scenes, one in the first act and one in the last act. And they approached Led Zeppelin, and it cost them £250,000, £250,000, to use that song in that movie. Led Zeppelin are notoriously protective of their music. They very rarely let anyone use it for any reason whatsoever. But then that doesn't really excuse Dread Zeppelin, does it? Dread Zeppelin, if you didn't know, are a reggae band that do covers of Elvis Presley and Led Zeppelin songs in a reggae style, and the lead singer is an Elvis impersonator. Yeah, go look them up, they're quite cool. Other cons. Another con with using copywritten music is the songs you might want. If you're using more than one especially, it might cost you hundreds of thousands of pounds or dollars to actually use these songs, to get permission to use them. So unless you're in PewDiePie or, T-Series or, what's that one? Cocomelon. Unless you're the big three on YouTube, you probably don't have the budget for that kind of song usage. And so, you might be better to stick to cheaper options. Also, one final con, maybe you've got the money to use Immigrant Song in your vlog video. You're there, ready, waiting with a $250,000 check in your hand to give to Led Zeppelin, and they turn around and say no. Yep, a downside of using copywritten music is that the copyright holders may refuse. So, I hope you kind of enjoyed that starting thing about music copyrights, stream of consciousness thought process. But I hope you stuck with it. I'm not an expert. Please just take this video as a rough guide, but this is basically what happens in the whole process. I know it happens, especially with the original music, because I went through the process to try and obtain the rights to a song by Modestep called Show Me a Sign. Now again, I can't play the song here because if I play 1 second of it, I will get a copyright claim. But when I looked it up, there was a copyright claim for how many? What do you know? Copyright claim from 14 worldwide. So if I wanted to use Show Me a Sign by Modestep, I would need to apply to 14 different regions for 14 different licenses and have them all approved and pay for every one of them to ensure I could use that song legally globally without having to incur any copyright claims or to give more step royalties for it. Now you know why TV shows and movies are so expensive sometimes. Anyway, if you liked this video, this new Creator Corner thing, if you got anything from it at all, please make sure you let me know in the comments below. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, because it's all interaction anyway. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down, because it's all interaction anyway. And if you loved what you saw, be sure to subscribe. And if you absolutely hated it, can't stand it, make sure you ring-a-ding-dong that gosh darn bell to hate the next one the next time it comes out, because there's going to be more coming up. Thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. Wish I could give you all a hug in person, all 50 subscribers of you. Yay, 50, halfway to get my own fucking name on the channel. youtube.com/ScotInTheDot at 100 subscribers. We'll get there in the end, okay folks? To all you Scot and daughters and sons out there, see you then. Bye.